Hey, welcome back to Bit About Crypto. I'm David James, the Job Whisperer, and I'm once again with my host, Dave Hampton, the Robo Recruiter.
Morning. It is terribly hot outside.
Well, I don't think terrible is the word for it, but yeah, we're here. Scorching, right?
Hellish.
Yeah, they say that Phoenix is the valley of the sun, but Las Vegas is the surface of the sun. That's for sure. So, I was really thinking about that. For those of you who don't know, David and I, we live in San Diego County, and literally it is 40 degrees hotter in Las Vegas than where we live. It's like 80, and that's hot for where we live. It was 120 yesterday, and it's going to be like 117 today. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about poverty and Bitcoin, and because, for those of you who know me, I might randomly start talking about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. It's an affective character of mine.
Seems very fitting.
Yeah. It's just I was chosen. But anyhow, going on, I was outside the gas station. I see these two homeless guys, right? They're not together. They're apart. One guy, he's sitting with a drink. Well, he's smart. And the other guy, he's just sitting with no drink, smoking a cigarette. And I was just thinking, at some time, these guys, I'm trying to get from my car just inside to get a water. And I'm dying. And these guys are like sitting there. And this is their lot in life, right? And I'm wondering how currency cheated them. I mean, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about homeless people, right? And how the way we've set up our currency system has disenfranchised them. I mean, not all of them, but I think a lot of it has to do with that.
Maybe. I mean, I always wonder how they got from where they started in life to where they are. But,
yeah. I
mean, I think lack of currency or ability to get currency is part of that. So.
Right. And you and I both know getting people jobs, right? Presentation. When your self-esteem goes so low, right, it gets to a point where people don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and you start believing that.
Yeah, and then you start believing that about yourself.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. The worthlessness is what it amounts to, or the feeling of worthlessness.
Yeah, that's a tough spot. It's a tough spot because, I've had, different iterations of hope or lack thereof in my own life. So, I mean, I don't lack compassion, but, and that's, for me, I've gotten a little bit madder about, because, I've worked very hard to actually accumulate throughout my life. And every time I got to a certain iteration, it's like all these rent-seeking events from the government seem to take. And I'm not saying I'm against taxes, but I'm against taxation without representation. And in a lot of ways, we've come to that because the bureaucrats and the politicians, they dictate taxes without the reciprocity of any benefit. That's literally what's happening, especially if you're not poor enough and you're not rich enough, right?
Yeah, you're getting squeezed in between, in the middle. And I mean, I take qualms with the fact that these elected officials are making careers out of being politicians.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've been saying for a long time that they should limit the terms of our representatives and senators as much as just like they do with the president.
Travis, can we book him on Political Junkies, please? Let's put him down because that's not the topic. Thank you, Travis. So we actually have a guest speaker spot for you. You can vent that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
So but anyhow, that's that. So about the show, for those of you who are tuning in. By the way, thank you for everybody who said so many nice things. That was really cool, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
And the response is overwhelming, better than I actually ever thought. I want to just talk about the show. It's a bit about crypto, and even though I'm a big proponent of Bitcoin, I'm also a big believer that blockchain is going to change the world. So there are other tokens that I believe in if the correct use case is there. And I know you feel the same way too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still learning it just like I think most people are, but I believe in the blockchain technology aspect of it. So I think that's really what I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. We are on the precipice just like we were before Amazon became Amazon, Facebook became Facebook, etc.
Yeah, so the purpose of this podcast really is this is not for the sophisticated Bitcoin or blockchain, theorist. This is for the people who have heard about Bitcoin and blockchain and they want to know more. So the auspice of why we started this was because we want to talk about how Bitcoin and blockchain is changing the job market, right? And specifically what that's all about. And really it needs to start with money, right? And here it is. We call this the dirty fiat, right? We've always been told you need to work for this and save this and go to college, and then you'll get a job where you can make more of this, and then you're taxed in this, and you have to pay it back in this. But the problem, what people don't understand, a lot of people really don't understand money. And I didn't understand money because I wasn't really taught financial literacy. Were you taught financial literacy as a kid?
Not really. I mean, I would see my parents do budgets, and my dad was always scribbling with a pencil. I mean, they were pretty tight. I remember, I know they were on a budget because anytime my mom was the spender, my dad was the saver. Anytime that, so I knew that right away.
Sexist.
And well, just from the standpoint that my mom would take us shopping, and my dad would be like, "How much did you guys spend?" She'd be like, "Don't worry about it." And and then the credit card company, she's like, he'll be like, "Oh God," And I know what it was painstaking for him, because they had this credit card bill they were paying monthly. They paid it off. He said, "I always pay your credit card off monthly. Every time. Yeah. Keeps your credit up, that kind of thing." But those kinds of things were lost on me. I mean, I understood it. I mean, I was a saver when I was a kid. I mean, I got a lot of graduation cash, and I had a lot of cash saved up for when I went to college. But yeah, I mean. That literacy, no, not like today's age. Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace, or that kind of stuff. No.
Yeah, that's kind of an important thing. So the reason Bitcoin, when I'm going to limit it to Bitcoin in just this part of my talk, is the reason Bitcoin is so popular is because it's sound money, right? There are only 21 million of them that will ever exist, right? And it's the only commodity or asset or security or whatever you want to call it in the history of the world, the history of the planet, that actually cannot be increased in supply no matter how strong the demand gets, right? And so that's why what people are seeing is the demand get. And I know a lot of people are saying, "Well, I'm too late." It's like, no, you're not too late. Because in 1991, only 0.5% of the world was using the internet. Now, 60% of the population.
Right.
All right, and right now only 1.5% of the population of the world is in cryptocurrency. That's amazing. We have it's like the internet complaining that Netflix doesn't stream yet, right? We haven't got there, but we're absolutely going to get there. And being finite, that's an important thing. And the governments are very much. I believe that the governments are accumulating Bitcoin, and I believe that recently, that the governments have done everything they can to try and destroy Bitcoin, try and talk FUD. FUD, for those of you who don't know, fear, uncertainty, and doubt about Bitcoin. Everything they can possibly do to drive the price down. And when I'm talking about governments, I'm also talking about, the big cabals like, JP Morgan and all those people. Jamie Dimon, he said 3 years ago, if anybody who works for JP Morgan, that means like Nick at our bank, if I find out that anybody actually has Bitcoin, they will be fired. And now,
really?
Yeah, he said that. Absolutely, he said that. Remember, Warren Buffett said that Bitcoin is rat poison squared, right? He's going to be buying it. You watch.
It makes sense because they're trying to perpetuate their own wealth in the way that they've accumulated it.
Yeah, that's right, but that's going to change. But now JP Morgan, right?
Are they in it now?
Yeah, no, not only are they in it, but they actually have a crypto investment fund.
Exchange fund?
It's not an exchange, but you can invest in crypto if you are an investor with $5 million or more. Now think about that for a second, right? What they're trying to do, is they're trying to keep people in the middle class. They're trying to keep people like you and me in the middle class from him. And by the way, the reason I'm in middle class is because I work hard to stay here. And I'm going to say this: 30 years ago, I was lower upper class, and now I'm upper lower class. I mean, if you stop and think about that, right? I don't fly private, right?
Yeah.
I fly Southwest with you, right? I mean, when we can afford to come to Vegas and stay in hotels and have some nice meals, but at the end of the day, we still have to watch, right? We have to watch because we still are in the process of working for this. And I think that's a really important thing. And there's another thing that's happening that people don't know. The governments are talking about the CBDC, right? All the central banks are coming out with their own CBDC, and that's the central bank digital currency. right? And what they're going to say is, hey, you don't need Bitcoin, you don't need Cardano, you don't need Ethereum or whatever coin's going to come out. All you need is our central bank digital currency. And the way they're going to get people to actually use it, David?
No cash. Cash is not.
Well, before we go, let's talk about that, right? They used this pandemic to say, hey, we can't print cash, right? And now you're seeing restaurants. We went to a place, tell them.
We went to a smoothie shop, right? And they're saying only debit or credit card, no cash.
We don't accept cash.
No cash.
Right, and that's a thought leadership being portrayed by the Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen cabal. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, hey, we don't want people using cash because we want to monitor. We want you not to have your Fourth Amendment rights to privacy.
Yeah,
right?
No, that makes sense.
We want to know who you spend.
They want to be able to monitor.
Right.
So now they're taking the fact that they can track the digital codes, right? Like that the FBI tracked down the Bitcoin that they got that was hacked from that pipeline.
Yeah, that's entirely not accurate. I mean, as far as that, the FBI hacked Bitcoin, they didn't.
They didn't hack it, but they were able to recover it.
Yeah. So, but before we come to that, I want to talk about the. Oh, well, we'll come back to the central bank digital currency. Let's talk about this. So this is a very important thing. The reason Bitcoin can survive is because it is decentralized. Right. So if I was going to take some of my Bitcoin and I actually got your wallet, I could send $5 of Bitcoin to you and nobody could stop me, right? So there are a lot of people who get into Bitcoin. 95% of the people who are into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, I always default to Bitcoin because it's my drug of choice, Bitcoin.
Right.
Basically, nobody could seize it. Nobody can take it away unless I give the keys. However, 95% of the population actually buy their cryptocurrency on an exchange, right? And it sits on an exchange. And that's the same thing as saying I let my bank at Wells Fargo or Bank of America, I let them buy the Bitcoin for me and they're holding it, right?
Right.
So if I was to sue somebody and I was to get a judgment, I could actually seize their bank account. And by law, the bank would actually have to take their money and give it to me. Right, these exchanges like Kraken or Coinbase, which by the way are the best ones to use if you're new. If you're new, you should use Coinbase. They're not the cheapest, but they're the most reliable. They're publicly traded. They're audited from the United States government. So there's not going to be some situation where you got thousands of people saying, "Hey, where's our money?" Yeah, people will be taken care of. But the truth of the matter is, you're not centralized, right? Not your keys, not your coins. And the funny thing about it is, and so this is a very important thing. If you're new with cryptocurrency, all right, yes, you should go to Coinbase. But eventually what you have to do is you have to learn how to actually get a wallet, a cold wallet, so you can actually self-custody your Bitcoin. And the question you need to be asking yourself is, am I self-custodying my Bitcoin? All right, and this is not something you do from YouTube. You need someone to show you because you could lose your coins.
I agree.
Coins forever.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing about it is that these first off, this pipeline that was hacked, right? Well, number one, the CEO was using the word password for his password. All right. So I mean,
it's a very commonality.
I think your 10-year-old son could probably hack that. All right. So that's and kids are so smart today, and there's some boomer.
I think my 4-year-old could hack that.
Yeah, go Ryan.
Yeah.
So anyhow, and what ended up happening is they paid the ransom. However, where the hackers literally had is they used an exchange or a routing that was held by Amazon Web Services. So the FBI literally caught it en route before the hackers, had self-custodied it themselves. So I want this to be clear, okay? Bitcoin is not hackable. Okay, if Bitcoin is hackable, it would go to zero overnight. Okay, if there was a double spend.
Misuse of the word hack.
Yeah, no, but
they recovered it.
Yeah,
I didn't know how they recovered it, but they recovered it.
David, they're trying to spin this in such a way to make people have doubt, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. This whole operation was a design that we're going to have this press conference and we're going to say, we confiscated the Bitcoin, we recovered the Bitcoin, right?
Got it.
Like Ross Ulbricht, right, who's doing life in prison without parole in the Florence Supermax, right? He had the Silk Road, right? And in order to avoid the death penalty, or I don't know all the details. I gotta check myself. But part of his plea to lessen the charges is he had to surrender all of his Bitcoin. So he gave it up.
Right.
He sent it to them. And for people who don't know this, the FBI has the second largest wallet with the amount of Bitcoins in the world. The Federal Bureau of Investigation. The guy who has the first is Satoshi Nakamoto, our anonymous founder, who actually has over 1 million Bitcoin that have never moved. Right, but that's a whole different podcast episode. So I want you out there to know that no, Bitcoin was never hacked. No, the FBI can't hack it. All right, that's not true. That's not accurate. So what I want to come back. Can we go to CBD? Right?
Sure.
Yeah, CBD. Sure. CBDC, right? Central Bank Digital Currencies, right? What these governments are coming up with this idea is that they want to actually know who's spending what and where, and they're going to veil this.
Yep.
They're going to unveil this. They're going
Right.
to cloak it under that. We don't want any terrorists or any drug
Right.
traffickers to do this.
Cartel,
Yeah,
organized crime,
it's
yeah.
highly
Yeah.
inauthentic, and it's
Right.
highly. I've got some better choice words.
Fear mongering,
And
Manchurian
what it is.
candidate,
So,
yeah.
but what they want to do is they want to actually know who's spending, and they want to be able to cut you off, saying that think about how the big tech can deplatform a president or a congressman or somebody who has an opinion against something. We all know what they are, and
Yeah,
this.
it's dangerous, man. Right now,
It's incredibly dangerous
Yeah.
right now
It's just
because
a lot of peril.
because the corporate tech companies, they're the new mafia.
Right.
I mean, and this is an important thing, and this relates to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. This is why this is so important. The reason they hate it is because they can't control it.
right.
Right. And there's nothing they're going to be able to do about it, man. Nada. Right. Which kind of makes me kind of proud that I'm part of this. But here's what I want to say about the central bank digital currencies. They want to know who's spending what and where, and then what happens is they're talking about how they're going to give people money, and you have to spend it. Your money has an expiration date. And there's also people.
It's so ludicrous.
And
man.
they're talking about also,
Absurd.
and this is like the AOC and the Bernie Sanders and the squad, right? Because their ideology of socialism is incredibly
potent.
but not it's contrarian to what makes America America.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Every
indeed.
form of socialism and communism has absolutely failed, right? Because the people at the top,
Right.
like Bernie Sanders, like he says, "Oh, I've got my house. I've got a summer house. Everybody has a summer house. Do you have a summer house, David?
No.
Hey, Travis, do you have a summer house? No. What about you, George? Summer house? No. I'm still trying to get my first house. Okay. I live in the house I live in during the summer, and then he's got this third house. Right? And just the arrogance and the obtuse aloofness of Bernie Sanders. He's got 3 houses, and he's talking about how he's for the people. His wife got a $20 million loan she never had to pay back, right? AOC's got a place in D.C. and a place in New York, and she drives a Tesla, right? And she's complaining that Donald Trump, I don't want to get involved with that. She's complaining that her grandma in Puerto Rico actually
doesn't have enough support,
doesn't have any money in it. It's just like,
yeah.
hey, if you believe so much in socialism, you should be given some of your money, right?
Right.
But that's not how it works. So what they're going to do with the central bank digital currencies, they're going to say to everybody, hey, download this wallet, and we'll give you $5,000. Who's not going to take a free $5,000? Everybody's going to take it. But then what they're going to do is they're going to decide is this gender of people have been disenfranchised, or this race of people have been disenfranchised. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you 70 and another group of people 100, or whatever the mix is going to be.
Selective payment,
right?
Whatever,
And this is
or selective slavery.
right.
If you ask me.
And this is why. And remember, the thing about central bank digital currencies is there is an unlimited supply. There's they can just. I mean, think about that. How many zeros can you type into your computer? Right? You could make a trillion or a quadrillion or whatever comes after that in 5 seconds.
Quintillion.
Yeah, and this is what they're doing. And the thing about it is, this right here, it's getting worthless by the day. And basically, this inflation that they're forcing upon us is the worst form of taxation. We actually went to war and declared our independence against the British for the reason of
Taxation without representation.
right.
And religious persecution.
If King George was smart, if he had just 2 Americans from the colonies in the House of Commons, it would have never happened.
Yeah, it would have had a truce.
They would have placated. No, they just placated, right? But they want it this way. But what I'm saying to you is, 30% of all the money, the United States currency that's ever been printed, has been printed in the last 18 months, and they want to print. $6 trillion more they want to print. So it's funny because as I was driving here, I stopped at a coffee shop that I used to go to in Corona, California, Honey's. Kind of give a shout out for Honey's. That's HUNNY''S. And and Honey's used to be a decent breakfast place. You could get like bacon and eggs for like $7-8, right? This is like 4 or 5 years ago. You could get steak and eggs for like $12-13, right?
Seems reasonable.
Steak and eggs, $32. $32. He told me that his percentage, the cost of all of his ingredients to actually make food has gone up by 40% in the last year. That's
transitory inflation, right?
No,
according to our Fed.
Yeah, it's not. That's not accurate. But the thing about it is when I think about it, it's not that it's $32, is that the worth of money is going down. And I always use this analogy. And when I was a kid, I scrounged up enough money so I could walk a mile to the store so I could actually get some Kool-Aid. And I came home and I made the Kool-Aid and I decided it's like, well, if I add twice as much water, I'll have twice as much Kool-Aid. I think I'm 7, 8, right? And I do this.
You didn't understand dilution?
Nope. That didn't make sense to me because, I'm second grade and my part of my brain that does logic hasn't quite connected correctly. Right. Well, maybe a lot of people say that's still the case, but that's a different episode. But what I'm saying is I realize, there's a reason, there's a measure. And what they're doing with our money is, to our Kool-Aid, is they've added so much water that not only can you not taste it, but it doesn't even look green anymore, if that's the color we're talking about. And this is a really, really an important thing. And so a recent thing, and so what's been talked about as it relates to Bitcoin is that we need institutions to actually buy Bitcoin for it to be adopted. That's what they're saying. Now, that's happened a little bit. Elon Musk with Tesla bought $1.5 billion. Right. Michael Saylor, he's buying like crazy.
Yeah, he
right?
did another bond raise to do it.
Yeah. And so basically, I think they have 100,000 Bitcoin, right? So that's what, $40 billion?
Yeah.
And so that's worked out really well for them. But I personally have always, just you and I as recruiters, we observe people and we watch behaviors.
Right.
I don't think it's institutions that are actually going to drive the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but specifically Bitcoin. I'm positive it's going to be poverty. Now, what ended up, so just to take the story back, the country of Iran was getting just so clocked by Trump. I mean, Trump really made sure, I know we had sanctions under Obama, but Trump made sure they couldn't even sell their oil on the black market. When the ships would go to Venezuela, they would intercede. They literally would take it away and they would reroute it. I mean, they literally couldn't make any money. They were cut off from everything. So what did the country of Iran do? They start mining Bitcoin. They will give miners in Iran free electricity to mine Bitcoin. You know who else is mining it? Paraguay, Uruguay, Venezuela. Even the Venezuelan military, they're mining Bitcoin so they can get paid, right? So this is what's happening. So what recently happened is the country of El Salvador, literally, the president of El Salvador is, whether he's a dictator or not, he passed a law that was signed by the Senate that Bitcoin is a legal tender like the U.S. dollar.
Yep.
And here's why this is so important. And everybody's saying, hey, it's such a small, you're half Guatemalan. Do you have any idea what the population of El Salvador is? Like less than 10 million, right? Small.
It's small, yeah.
Right.
I can't tell you. I'd be guessing. So
you don't have any chingon? You don't have any pride about where you're from?
Chingon has no context in that question.
That's what my wife says to me when I mess up. She goes, hey, or when I disagree with her or I don't stick up for her. She goes, hey, where's your chingon? Yeah. And it's like it took me 15 years to figure out what a chingon is. I guess I'm still figuring it out. So you don't know Guatemala?
Well, you asked me the population of El Salvador. I don't know the population of El Salvador.
Yeah, you're right. I did. I misspeak. Thanks.
So,
well, do you know the population of Guatemala?
No.
See, you have no chingon. You don't even know about your own country. All right.
So chingon does not translate the information in English.
You're right. You're right.
So.
I digress. But here's the important thing about El Salvador it's not so much that that country is using it there. The reason that this was initiated, right, is because 22% of El Salvador's GDP is transmissions from the North America, Canada, and the United States. 1/5 of all the money that country makes is from money being sent from workers here.
Yeah.
So the significance of it is
Western Union, right?
Right. We have the marginalized people, right, that are working like less than stellar jobs, right? And instead of going to Western Union, right, in all their rent-seeking ways,
No, they
right,
just get it directly
well,
without the middleman.
now people are in these marginalized positions in the United States that send it home mostly. They have to say, hey, can you pay me in Bitcoin, right? And then person A who employs this person says, what's Bitcoin? Right? And now you're asking for it. You'll notice that when you go to Coinstar in the grocery store, you can actually get paid in Bitcoin instead of with cash.
Yeah, there's ATMs, right, at the local gas station near my house. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this poverty thing is going to pick it up. So the big deal to me is not that one country accepted it so much. It's going to force the adoption exponentially, right?
Agreed.
And why Bitcoin is so powerful, right? And why people should get into Bitcoin now. Right, and I take this from Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor says you find things that are dominant, right, but not popular, right? The most dominant search engine is what?
Google.
Right, but they're popular. The most dominant online shopping entity is what?
Amazon.
Right, they're dominant and popular, right? The most dominant financial network in the world is what? It's Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin.
Yeah. Used to be the dollar, right?
Yeah, but it's Bitcoin, but it's not popular yet.
It's not popular,
right? And it's dominant, and that's why people actually need to get onto this thing. So we talked about centralization and decentralization. We talked about self-custody. We talked about El Salvador. Now, a lot of these people, what they're trying to do is they're trying to you're hearing this rumor that they're going to outlaw Bitcoin. Right, and
you can't do that. I mean, Turkey's tried to do it. You know, they're. Go ahead.
They can do it.
Make my day.
Well, they can do it. However, but the smart thing about El Salvador, I think other countries are going to join. And I've always said this: there's going to be some third world dictator that's going to say you can spend your Bitcoin here, and before you know it, money goes where it's treated best. Right.
Right.
And people will go to these countries, and I mean, I can actually have permanent residency in El Salvador for 3 Bitcoin.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, so if they
$120,000,
if they pass a law that says Bitcoin is illegal in the United States, okay, then I don't have to be in the United States, and that's the great thing. I can actually literally leave and take my wealth with me. It's not like I'm dragging a bag of gold, where I have to take a cashier's check.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the thing about it. So yeah, good luck outlawing it. And we talked about that. I don't think we need to talk about that. Well, so anyhow, hey, let's talk about some of the jobs we have.
Okay.
What are you working on?
Well, let's see here.
So here's the deal. So we own Blockchain Recruiters. And if you have transferable skills and you want to work in the blockchain space, then what you need to do is you need to come see us at blockchainrecruiters.net. And here's how you can get a hold of me. All right. My email is davidj@blockchainrecruiters.net. davidj@blockchainrecruiters.net. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm the BTC Recruiter. Right? That's how you can find me. I'm the BTC Recruiter. So anyhow, I'm still looking. I'm looking for that crypto trader. That kid didn't take the job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought he was a shoe-in.
I mean, you can bring orders to water.
No, he got a counter offer. It's like his boss didn't let him take it.
But it's time. I mean, people are getting counter offers left and right now.
Right. I also have a head of blockchain, and I got a head of product for crypto. So those are the hot things. Of course, I always got full stack engineers.
Yeah, machine learning engineer. Right. I got something going in Boulder. Blockchain developers is high interest right now in New York. Got a crypto CFO. That's
I thought you filled that.
No, it's a tough one given the.
What happened? What happened that they They didn't want to see that guy?
We don't reveal clients, but I mean,
come on, man.
The reputation precedes it. So
We don't reveal clients. This is good.
come on now. I mean, you've taught me everything you know. So.
Yeah, but I haven't taught you everything I know.
I just said you did. I caught you. See.
So anyhow, yeah. So we're Blockchain Recruiter. So hey, this month, who else do we have coming on? Well, I don't know when. I don't know if we're going to talk about. Should we talk about the guests, or should we just let it be? No, you know what? Let's let it drop the surprise. I don't think we should talk about the guests.
I think we should let it be.
Yeah, we'll let it be. You guys say. So anyhow, I very much appreciate. I appreciate everybody's comments. So the best thing you do if you want to support this show. Oh, first off, I just want to say that we will never contact you. We will never send messages to you in the chat saying contact us, ask you for money, ask you for any idea. We never do that. Those are scammers. All right. So, but if you want to support the channel, what you can do is you can subscribe at Apple or Spotify and on YouTube. All right. And you can like and smash that like button. I hear all the guys say that on podcasts. Now that I have a podcast, I can say smash that like button. David, is there anything you want to say before you go out?
No. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And we appreciate everything you guys can do to support. We're on the brink of something very special in this space.
And remember, a new podcast drops every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And remember, David Hampton, Robo Recruiter. I'm David James, the Job Whisperer. And remember, people, get whispered.